Welcome, everyone, to Hedgebrook's Cottage Chat for April 2023. I have the honor of hosting these joyous conversations and amplifying the brilliant minds of our ever growing alumna community. And this time, we're doing a little twist. In celebration of our 35th year, Hedgebrook is working to engage an ever widening circle of our community of radical reciprocity. And so this month, Cynthia Manick, who is author of No Sweet Without Brine, Amistad HarperCollins 2023, just dropped. We will let you know about that. Editor of The Future of Black Afrofuturism, Black Comics and Superhero Poetry, winner of the Lascaux Prize in Collected Poetry, and author of Blue Hallelujahs. She has received fellowships from Cave Canem, Hedgebrook, MacDowell Colony, and Chateau de la Napoule, among other foundations. Manick is the creator of the Soul Sister Review reading series, and her work has been featured in the Academy of American Poets Poem a Day series, Callaloo, the Los Angeles Review of Books, the Wall Street Journal, and other outlets. She lives in Brooklyn, New York. She's also watching reviews and posts about her new book, No Sweet Without the Brine, pouring in. It just dropped. Definitely copy you a copy. I will be hopefully sharing a stage with her on these poems soon. But I asked Cynthia if she would be willing to bring her longtime conspirator, that's what I'm calling you, conspirator, and beloved community member JP Howard to celebrate these baby books that are coming into the world, because I've been watching them celebrate online and I was like, this is going to be cute. And I knew it would happen right in time for April Poetry Month. And JP is a poet, educator, literary activist, and community builder. She is also a bad mama jamma professional, but that's for another time in another place. JP is the spring 2023 Brooklyn College Toe Mentor in Residence. Her debut poetry collection, Say Mirror, the Operating System, was a Lambda Literary Award finalist. She is the author of Bury Your Love Poems Here, Belladonna Press, Praise this Complicated Herstory, Legacy, Healing, and Revolutionary Poems, Harlequin Creature, and co-edited Sinister Wisdom's Black Lesbians, We Are the Revolution. JP was a featured author in Lambda Literary's LGBTQ Writers in the Schools and received fellowships from Cave Canem, Bona, and Lambda. She curates Women Writers in Bloom Poetry Salon, and JP is a general poetry editor for Women's Studies Quarterly. So, you know, if you're trying to submit some work, I'm just saying, we got people who know people. I am so glad that JP was able to join us so we could celebrate. And I'm going to get right to it in just a moment. My name is Amber Flame, and I am the program director for Hedgebrook, as well as an alumna of the Writers in Residence program. I'm so thrilled to be your host for this conversation, streaming live Thursday, April 20th, 2022. Ooh, okay, that long old intro.
But it's nice though. It's kind of dope. It has some flow.
Yes,
yeah,
we loved it.
Us into it. Yeah.
Listen, I wrote a script and everything, y'all. You know, I be practicing. I be getting on my job.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna confess one thing. First of all, I had just had the conversation of like, I want to talk to more people than just our alum, because many of the times that I think that somebody's an alum, I assume all the badass people that I know are alum. And that is not always the case. And I had just had that discussion. And then we did Equivox, where we brought 2 non-alum into our program, and it was spectacular. And so the whole organization is moving into, what does it mean to really underline and underscore places where Hedgebrook community is bigger because of our alum, is bigger because of who they're in conversation with. And I say all this to say that JP, I assumed, and I made an ass out of me, not you, but me. Because the thing is that I only know you through Hedgebrook alum, but they're also all Cave Canem fellows, which I am not yet.
That's right. Yet. Not yet. Yeah, that's right. Not yet.
Putting it out there. Anytime you want to.
You all got our mountains, our white whales.
We all got our mountains.
We all got a Dippy Nose Mine. I haven't been to Yado yet. I keep applying.
Listen, Liz,
we all have our little things. You know?
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Right.
But what I did, I met JP, I want to say almost 15 years ago at this point, because my kid was a baby, was young.
Yes.
In Seattle because of a
That's right.
alum.
That's
And
right.
he was just launching Women Writers in Bloom.
That's right.
And now, then the kind of the next time, last Facebook memories, it was yesterday or today, a year ago, that we did a Zoom version of Women Writers in Bloom,
That's
and
right.
Cheryl Boyce Taylor and Kai Coggins and Saida Agostini, right?
That's right. That's right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
It's a National Poetry Month one. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we celebrated on the flip side doing your thing like a year ago.
A year ago, exactly. Yes, that's right. That's it.
Will you tell me, how do you all know each other?
It seemed like
forever.
forever.
Someone asked me that other day, and I was like, "When did I meet JP? When did you meet each other, JP?"
It was probably at least the beginning of the salon. So the salon is what, 12 years old.
Yeah. It must have been that way. I don't know how we started talking.
Right.
But we immediately started texting each other immediately.
Exactly.
Just random gifts, random. Did you hear XYZ? I'm like, no, good. Did you hear? And then it evolved from there.
Exactly. We pretty much text every day now.
I just said this 5 minutes ago. That's a good intro. So yeah, it was a good intro.
Just check in real quick.
That's right.
I love it. So you met in the salon. Now, is it that you are a Taurus, Cynthia? What is your sign? Because what I know is
I'm a Gemini.
A Gemini.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is that a good interesting or interesting? What interesting is that?
A little bit of both.
No, I love Gemini. I'm just thinking because I know JP as a Leo.
You know that.
Loud and
right.
proud,
That's
says
right.
it regularly.
That's right.
Comments on my
That's why you have a Leo very close in your life.
That's why she likes me at all. Is
my mom's Leo. JP loves my mom.
That's why I'm like,
oh yes.
Okay. So there's just a deep love for the lion pride.
Yes, they roll deep.
That's right.
They do. Man, you got to appreciate that. You got to appreciate somebody who rolls deep. So one of the things that I saw JP's post before I even saw you posting about it, Cynthia, was you just had a celebration party for your book. And was there a curated menu? Is this what I saw?
You know what? Well, I wanted, because I love experiences and I hate when book launches are boring. So I was like, you know what? We'll have it at Books and Magic, which is a great store in Brooklyn, but we'll also have a wine down, like 10 minutes away after the event is over. And so I bought a package that included like wine and like drinks and charcuterie boards. And the menu was a no seat without brine drink menu.
So cool.
So people, the free drink tickets can get anything on that menu for free.
Right.
And I also have little cupcakes with no brine, little book on it.
Adorable.
That he really loves. And so this will make it sort of special.
That is amazing.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. A true celebration. Yeah, just like I had envisioned it. It was so beautiful. Even better than I envisioned.
Nice.
I'm co-host. She was my co-host. I was doing my signing book. She was already at the
That's why I was already there setting up.
That's a writer. You need somebody who will go deep for you. That's right.
That's right.
I think the thing that is hardest is it's a whole nother job to put a book out into the world. And you just finished a job of like writing the book and finding a home for the book, like editing the book. And now comes the next layer of this job. Like I'm deep in it right now and I'm exhausted. Hasn't launched yet. And I'm like, I never feel like I'm doing enough. I never feel like anybody cares. It's one of those weird, tense moments where I'm just like, am I even on the right track? Is this even worth it?
It's like you're on this spinning wheel. Right. Your little legs are like going. You're emailing. People talk about that actually. I was in the Books and Magic at a small fest book fair. We were talking about how no one talks about after the book is published. And we're shooting for this goal, right? To get the book out there. And it's amazing. Right. But after you sign that dotted line, it's a whole nother part of it has to take over in terms of marketing, who's your network. Because if you build them, they ain't going to come unless you make them come. I mean, there's so many options they can go to. Why do they want to come see you perform your book? You got to really like them. You have to entice them. That's a lot of energy to market yourself and your book at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So is it rewarding? what is the reward for you? Like I love performance. And so
Mm-hmm.
being literally in front of the
Right.
people and feeling the energy is like I'm holding on to knowing that that's coming. Like the
Yes.
result of this is that I'll be performing in front of people.
Yes.
But like that also is work. That's I'm an introvert that likes to perform. So it's like
Same,
Weird.
I'm at a
same.
right.
Yes.
And I got that vibe from you. So you're like, I got to get out there, but
Yeah,
it
I
also
can't
takes a
be
lot from me.
on and then I need to go quiet space.
Right.
Yes.
Like I
Right.
go and gift, I can't do. I can't hang out with you before the event, after the event. One or other. I need like a little space in between those things
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
I
A
mean,
door I can close.
yeah, exactly. It's definitely rewarding. For me, it's rewarding when I get the best emails from random people about my
Mm.
work. Just people you would never even expect. Just the whole lines that I wrote from Can American Poets. I mean, I get the randomest emails that stick with me. And also at events, after performing, I like that part because you see the connection, you see
Yeah.
people
Mhm.
nodding, you see people
Yes.
have their own memories, you see
Yes.
people listening about music that I've talked about in the poems. I
Mhm.
like the after performing part actually the best, the connection with the audience after I've read because we both shared experiences now. We both shared a story.
Yeah.
We both experienced that story at the same time.
Absolutely. I think it's a highlight, definitely the performance, the connection with the folks. Yes. Yeah. It was community, really.
Did you get to tour, JP? How was that for you? How was that
Yeah, no,
touring
it was
book?
definitely that was also the highlight, the performance. I mean, obviously I'm a Leo, so I enjoyed that part. But no, seriously, jokes aside, just really connecting with folks. And then I would say after the book was out, definitely a highlight was like doing workshops around it, around some of the topics. So that's something
Yeah.
that has come out, in subsequent
Mhm.
years over, like things that I didn't even think it was going to lead to, because my book is memoir slash poetry, and it deals with some deep
Mhm.
topics. So being able to kind of create workshops and really kind of get into the poems and have other people share their stories has definitely been a big highlight for me too.
Yeah, and it got you to, let's not forget to mention, let me make sure I say the full thing. The spring 2023
That's
Brooklyn
right.
College Toe Mentor in Residence. I want to talk about what it means to hold space because both of you, like
Yes.
that's how I met you, right? Is
Yes.
you wanted to create this space, and one of the things we tell almost everybody who asks, how do I get how do I get a writing community? How do I
Yeah.
get support with people, like regular consistent support from other writers?
Right.
And my advice is always you got to decide when and where with maybe at least one other
Mhm.
person would be nice, and then somebody has got to hold that ground and do it. You can't be like, oh, let's just put it off this Sunday, meet
Right.
next
Right.
Sunday, because
Yes.
then you ain't got no writing group and you'll just
That's right.
put it off.
No, you're
Somebody has
right.
to show up over and over
Yes.
again until like two people show up over and over again. You meet something, you're like,
Exactly.
oh, this could work. I want to throw my weight behind it too. Now three people are showing. I so that's what I saw women writers in bloom do, and it's
Yes.
taken time to like
Yes. Time and
but,
work,
like, you
right?
can take
And
it all,
energy.
right? Like
Yes.
you could now step away, but you couldn't step away this whole time. You had to be the one to show up. Both of you then had to be the ones to show up. And when one of you's not there, it's different. It feels different, right? So
Yes.
that's sort of like how do you transition into like this is a space that is created and has its own bones about it. You know what I mean? And how do you do that with a mentee? Like, how do you hold that ground and, like, curate their voice, and then, like, set them
Right.
loose?
Let them. Right. That's right. Exactly.
Into the
Let
world.
them.
Launch some kids into
That's
the
right.
world too, so, like, like, really
Yes.
just I think you're just really, really adept at that, JP. I would love for you to talk a little bit about it.
Yes, I mean, this is my whole new mentoring. This, this not that's new to me, but new in this position. Because it's a whole semester of going in. Every week or every few weeks and meeting with the students. And questions like that. Just this week, a student asked me, like, "How do you create community?" And I said exactly what you said. I said, "You really just need one other person, but you know what? You both have to be accountable." Because she said,
Mhm.
I'm interested in writing. I'm a writer, and I'm a new student here, and it's been hard for me to like, meet people. Like, what do I do? And I said, maybe go to your department, maybe find out from the, English department. Do they already have a writers group? If they don't, find out how you can
Mm,
start one. And I said, even if you don't, you might have a few friends that are writers. You can reach out to them. Doesn't, like you said, can only it really just takes one person. But you're right about the showing up. That's the
yeah,
really important part, right? The showing up, the consistency. And there are going to be people who don't show up, for you.
Mhm.
So you have to decide. And that's part of, kind of the curating with the salon. I had to decide, even on some months where, maybe there's going to be very, very low turnout. Am I still going to show up? Am I going to show up for myself and for my community? Ultimately, I did that. But definitely it's, sort of, hard work. But in terms of the mentoring, that's been really wonderful to be able to speak to students, to let them know that these are opportunities that you can kind of create for yourself, right? Let them know you can take the initiative. Because sometimes I think people say, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And I said, really, it's just one other person, exactly what Amber said. Just one other person is all it takes.
And also, if it's not available, go build it.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
No one's stopping you from going and creating it yourself.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be a gigantic task. But if it's not there, you can go build it and create it for yourself and others.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I find an important question is an important thing to know is to ask yourself what you're actually wanting from a writing community.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are you needing? Are you needing validation, affirmation? Are you needing somebody to be like, look at you, you wrote a poem? Are you like, what level here are you looking to involve people? And in reciprocity, what are you willing to get? And it's, I think you get to a certain stage when you're like named mentor in residence or writer in residence at Hugo House. It was like there's a certain stage at which it's like I can't expect that you will be able to offer as much as I would be able to offer based on where we're at here. So I think I'm wandering a little bit, but because what I wanted to ask you all is, what do you find yourself asking for from your writing community? Like, what is, when you think of like the real writing supports that you have, not the ones you hold, but the ones you have,
yes,
what do you find yourself asking for the most?
I think for me, it's just, just sort of that consistency, that showing up. I mean, it's National Poetry Month. This is a great time that we're having this conversation. And for me, I'm part of a few different groups, but this month I've been focusing on one of my writing groups that I've been writing with for probably over a decade, founded by Cheryl Boyce Taylor. And so literally every day, it's a small group of us, we write new poem and we share it. And so for me, I think it's definitely that showing up, because when I know that, I'm sort of expected each day to share a poem, I also know the other, 6 or 7 women in the group are also going to be doing that, right? So there's a little bit of, I guess, accountability, and that helps me. It really it gives me the incentive, because there's some days I'm like, am I really going to be able to get a poem out today? And then I'll see, Cheryl's poem, or I'll see, another sister in the group, I'll see her poem. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I can do this. I had a long, hard day, but that's the thing that really brings me joy at the end of the night when everybody's asleep. I'm up there, working on my poem. So I think it's showing up, accountability. Those are things that are important for me in groups that I'm a part of, not groups necessarily that I'm running.
I admire that also, JP. JP does it every year, 30-30.
Yes.
Sometimes he does 2 30-30 groups.
Yes, usually I do too. That's true. This year I did.
Yes,
right.
And I'm just like, that's madness.
So much of JP's life feels like madness to me.
It's like, that's madness, girl. That's madness.
If you follow JP on the socials, I'd be like, what is it? Remember when the girl, the boxer? Do you remember the boxer when she put out that video and she was like, "I'm not a do nothing bitch"? Right? There's been a couple times I've referenced this because, oh my goodness, I know that I am not a do nothing, but JP, like, when you're like, I'm too lazy to run the 5K, half marathon, blah blah blah.
I'm like, girl, bye.
I'm like,
girl, bye.
Lazy or are you too tired? Like,
which one is it?
Which one is it? Because I know you have a whole ass day job.
You have a day job and a wife,
like a whole ass one.
I know.
A whole family with 2 adult Black men.
That's
that
right.
You
that's
raised
right.
to almost college level. We're almost there with the youngest. Yeah.
Yes.
Like right on the precipice of
That's
this.
right.
And they're like brilliant. So like curated and cultivated. Like I talk about curating my child's life. I know you appreciate that. Like
yes, I do. You know that. Yes. I love stories. Hearing your stories.
Same, because I'm just like, right, this is what happens when you can like step into motherhood this way. And you should not ever have to, because it is hard. It is hard. Hard work. And if you don't do it, like my kid is pretty much convinced that he's not going to have no kids. And I'm like, I have proved this message.
That's right.
That's okay. I need you to go and live your whole life.
Yes. My Leo feels the same. My Leo son feels the same way.
I'm not having any. Like, I'm not having any either, you guys. So yeah.
You're like, I'm good. I'm good on
it. I'm good. I had enough stories. I support virtually and financially. That's what I do.
That's right. I will throw my
There you
support
go.
behind you another way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know
Exactly.
what? I'll have my support to give because I'm not exhausted working in a full day job, mentoring, doing a mentoring program at college level. So these are like serious writers who are paying
Yes.
attention to what you're saying. Running, you run, you have a family
Here and
life.
there, here and there. I don't want to make something of a big runner,
I
but yes.
mean, it's pretty much every weekend, Cynthia. Am I
Oh,
wrong?
No, you are right.
I'm
oh my
correct.
You're
I
goodness.
know I'm
right.
Y'all
correct
called me on
on
this.
this one.
I'll get photos
Anyway.
from her. This is where I'm at. I'm at the park right now. I'm like, what time is it? 8 a.m. Jesus. Saturday?
On a
Why? Why?
Like,
Is someone
up
chasing
already?
you? Is someone chasing you?
I'm trying to support
Okay.
life. I'm trying to be
Why are you
support
running?
support a partner. Trying to support a partner. That's her thing.
Because
So,
that's how you support your partner. And I think
yes.
that like what you demonstrate to me is this real like elegance of like you're just methodical in getting things done. And I think that that's something that like I'm inspired by. But what I love in your energy, the two of you's energy, because Cindy, my first experience with you was a year ago at the Zoom. We
That's
have not
right.
met in person ever.
Okay, cool. Wow.
And I was just so struck by like, I forget, JP, that you talk fast and you
Yes,
move
yes.
fast and you think fast and you're like,
Right.
which is why the Gemini, I'm sure, is like, I could mess with this. This works.
Yes.
I'm not gonna get bored with this too quick. But like Cynthia, you are so chill, and it feels like what you maybe are really excellent at, JP, is finding somebody who like
Yes.
teeter totters your seesaw
Yes. Yes.
really, really well. Like this, the way you talk about your partner, the way you talk about your son, like every arena of your life has this teeter totter partner that
Yes.
keeps you from swinging
Absolutely.
wildly into the sky. It feels
That's
like.
right. That's right.
Talk
Absolutely.
about like what does it take? What have you had to heal to like nurture this bond? Because we know it's some like what do you think? Do you think it's soulmates, like you found each other again after lifetime? Do you think it's more casual than that? Do you think it's just like recognizes like, birds of a feather flock together kind of energy? What do you think it is? What is the magic formula that made this like really coalesce into a partnership?
That's a deep question, Amber. That's a deep,
It is, right? That's a serious
therapist kind of
question.
question.
Damn.
My goal this year is to investigate relationships. What
All
role
right.
do you take? Are you the beloved or the lover? That's another question.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I know, right? This is some deep questions. I wasn't expecting all this.
I know I was not.
know.
Okay.
Listen,
Drink my cranberry juice.
I've been paying attention, as you see. I've been paying attention. This is when I recognize something that sparkles. I'm just like, what is this? Why does this work? And people who have figured out relationships, honey boo boo, let me tell you, I will take some notes.
Let
Let
me start right down.
You know, I think we recognize each other and what we want to do in life. We also recognize that we are both go-getters, but we also like laying on the couch and eating Cheetos.
Exactly.
We recognize both of those things. Like I will have crazy ideas all the time and she'll support it, and vice versa. And then I'm like, no, that's not a good idea. X, Y, Z. She's like, yeah, you're right, it was not a good idea. So we'll both go on these journeys of just ideas and things we want to do and then not do. And we were just really good at communicating with each other.
We really
I'll
are.
text 1 o'clock in the morning. I got an email to you. Want to hear it? And I'll send it to her, you know, and she'll read it while she's in the bathroom. I'm like, girl, how you doing? Right. Yeah, that kind of stuff. We just coalesce, I guess.
Yes.
And I'm also no really jealousy. Like even though we're both poets, our career tracks are so different. Right. What we do is so different. We coexist like totally fine.
We do. It's true.
We do.
We really do. Yeah, exactly. And I think we call each other on stuff. Like if somebody comes up with an idea, you know, that's like, I don't know, girl, I don't know about that. Is that gonna work? You know what I'm saying? But then
I always on her about her second book. I was like,
yes,
why you in the writing group? Was your second book done?
Exactly.
You should go hide. You should go hide. I was like, you know,
exactly.
I want to do what now?
Exactly.
Do you have time for this? When's my second book? And she'd be like,
I need that. Someone who's gonna call me. Right? I need someone who's gonna call me and myself, right? Yeah. So, and that's really wonderful. That's what that's what we aspire for in friendship. Someone who's gonna be honest with you.
Like you're gonna go where now? Are you dating right now? I was like, no. Why? Are you hiding from dating? I was like, I'm not hiding. I'm just busy. She's like, are you?
Are you really?
That kind of stuff. You know, we both recognize what we both need, and we're not doing it for good reasons, and we'll call each other on it.
Exactly, which I love, and which is
Yeah.
important. We need that. We don't always get that in friendships, right? So when you
Yeah.
do get it, it's like you'll hold on to that. You're gonna nurture that.
Yeah.
Gonna so that be
Mhm.
grateful and celebrate it. Celebrate that. Yeah.
So, there's that whole like, don't nobody want to date a poet because they'll write about you and talk about you on stage thing. Have you ever written about each other or this relationship at all?
No.
No, yeah, no,
It never even
no.
occurred to me, Amber.
Yeah,
It never even
yeah. No,
occurred to
I
me.
know, I know,
Like
right?
I'm just
I know that
I'm
could be my prompt for
talking, like I
tonight. My
said.
I
poetry prompt
know.
for
That
tonight,
never even
right?
occurred to me. No.
Yes.
It's awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to. You're like both of you went
I know, right? We're
like
like,
the opposite
we
You
way.
haven't
just
done that.
It
like
was
totally
great.
astounded us.
I know. We're like,
Suddenly, we're
no, we
just
haven't done
like,
that.
Yeah,
no,
I love
I
it.
never even thought about that. Yeah.
So I want you to
That's your
tell
prompt.
me if
No,
there was one thing that you could tell everybody about your book, one essential thing. Maybe it's like if you only read one poem from the book, read this one, or this is for people who, and you have like that kind of message. Because I'm so fascinated by this. Like, what is the language we use to like give this book into the world, right? What is the one thing that you hope every single person who encounters your work in this book anyway gets?
For me, I want them to get that we all have multiple sides of ourselves, and each side is equal in all measure.
Mm,
Mm, beautiful. Mm-hmm.
nice. Oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
like you practice that.
I know. I did it off the cuff. Off the cuff just
No,
now. Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful
It was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful. Absolutely.
and true.
It's true. That's right.
I
And
felt
true.
seen. I was like,
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
do. And they are. But they're equal. Like, have you seen that little meme where it's like showing up fully doesn't look like this and it's like a ball like full all the way through.
Hmm.
It's like
Right.
all different levels. That's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
the sides, like they fluctuate. They're in flux. Like there's some that are priority and some that take a back burner. And I love
Absolutely.
that fluidity, but they all have equal part, like
Hmm.
in me.
Yeah.
Come on, poet, go in.
That's right. Right. There you
I
go. There
try.
you go. Go
I
for it.
try.
Go ahead, poet. I love it.
How about you, JP?
I would say from my book, maybe the message would be that we can survive. We can survive our, sort of our childhood traumas. We can survive the, whatever the, the BS that we might have dealt with in our earlier lives, our young self, can still come out on the other side and write about it and talk about it and honor that part of ourselves.
Mm,
Mhm.
mm. A survival story
Hmm.
to emerge multifaceted. I love it.
That's right. That's right.
Or
There you go.
Yeah, I love
Yes.
that idea of also just that idea of JP's work about having a wound that's being healed over.
Yes.
I think all her work does that. It pokes these wounds, it reveals them, but they also heal you afterwards.
mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's true. Basically always healing, right? To make a room for healing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Very Chiron, like, right? Like the idea is that maybe the wound doesn't heal, but
Hmm.
Mhm.
through the tending and nurturing, that doesn't mean you leave it to fester and like kill
Yeah.
you. You instead
Exactly.
like continue to tend it. And in
Yes.
tending it, it teaches you to be an even better healer than you could have been without the wound.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
One of the ways that I really, you gave me an opportunity a few years ago, JP, to write for Mom Egg Review
That's
for
right.
portfolio that you put together. And it was losing my mom was real new at the time
Yes.
and
I
real
remember.
raw.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
you allowed me to write about it and pose and published a picture of her. Sometimes it hits me in the face, like a memory will come up, and I'm like, like
Yes.
don't expect it. Grief
No.
is so funny that way, but I think there's something in the from what I know of you through your social medias and our little bit of interaction and through your work, what I understand that you so generously shared about your own mother is this very loving and intentional relationship that you had with her and with like the community that she was in, so many
Yes.
people. And it's like it is the dream of like the Harlem, the Harlem childhood, like
Right.
what you imagined the time of the Cotton Club would have been like for a
Hmm.
child. And there's something really wide-eyed and innocent in the way that you talk about your childhood that is really that I love. I love to read those posts. I love when you share about your mama and her modeling and like just done like a Leo should.
Yes, yes, yes. She was a
Um,
total. She was a total Leo.
oh yeah,
The
and
ultimate.
like and with what that brings, like I
Yes.
don't know, like
Right.
I'm in awe because Leos have a hard time with the mothering sometimes.
Yes. Yes.
There's
Yes.
a lot of Leo moms, Whitney Houston.
Hmm. Right. Right.
Maybe decided not to shine in that arena. You know what I mean? But like
Yes.
what
Yes.
Mhm.
I really connect with is so much of losing my mom was deciding how I was going to be a mom.
Right.
And like how intentional I was going to be with my time, my energy, my joy. And my relationship with my mother was very fraught. And I think that's the thing that I love about your post is that um it feels like I love my mom. My mom and I had
Yes.
a great relationship. I was her baby. I was her
Yes.
like there's so many good things about our relationship.
Right.
And in losing her, off came a scab over a
Mhm.
whole festering wound that I didn't know was there,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Or that I didn't know was there, but I didn't realize how much it was playing out in literally all of my life. And to
Right.
have that happen young
Yes.
really shifted everything. And so I think that's one of the like I'm just pointing out that there's this real complication, like you were saying, Cynthia, of like
Mhm.
not only do we have a multifaceted, not only do we have all these sides and they're equal,
Hmm.
but like our parents had those sides. Like our parents were those
Yes.
humans too.
That's
And
right.
they're
Yeah.
Yes. Complicated folks. Right. Yeah.
You
They're
right.
forget the
complicated.
moment you
Yes.
realize that they are human, not just mom and dad.
And not
Yes.
just mom
There's
and
like
dad.
there's strings behind that are being pulled. We're just seeing it now.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're entering a new era where we're talking to where my kid, for instance, knows me as a whole self. We
Yes.
Mhm.
didn't know our parents as whole selves.
No, definitely not. That's
No,
right.
not our
We knew
generation. No.
we knew
Their parents.
compartmentalized parts of them, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Many times. Yes.
Yeah. And so how much of the healing is coming because I'm like, actually, no, you're gonna know that I'm prioritizing my writing right now.
That's
Mhm.
right.
And yes, you're gonna be okay.
Right.
Guess what?
Right.
Yeah.
Who's not starving today? You're
That's
not
right.
Yeah.
starving today. Go make yourself a sandwich.
That's right. You're gonna be okay. That's right. Give me my little space because I need it.
Right.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
need
Right.
it, and that's okay.
Yes.
And
It's okay to
yeah,
say that.
how much healing has come from that. So I want to know, what are you, so Cynthia, your book just dropped. And
Brand new.
Yeah. I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
like it's brand new, baby. You're right in the flow of all the shows, all the appearances, all the things that you
Articles,
worked
all
hard to
the
set up.
that's right. Reviews,
Mhm.
articles.
Right. So are you writing? Do you know
No.
what you're writing next?
Listen, I did a lot of writing for this book, right?
Yeah, you know what? Okay, unlike JP, I have to say I am not a 30-30 kind of writer. I try literally every year. Day three, I'm out. I was like, you know what?
I
No.
know. She's like, that's it.
I was like, no, it's not for
She's like, that's
me.
it.
I
For real.
usually write when I'm either inspired or I have a deadline of my
Yes.
residency. That's when I really will
Yeah.
write.
Right.
I mean, all year round, I'll
She's
just
great
be
at that.
reading and I'll like be taking notes about things that I admire. And like every book I read, I'll pull out words that I like and write it down. So that's how I collect throughout the year. And then one day I'll sit down and I'll write something. So more and more being inspired than as opposed to a regimented schedule. So right now for the book, just came out. I'm not writing right now. I did write new two pieces for Booker and Rail a couple weeks ago, and for the Rumpus a couple weeks ago. And those came out. So those were for those pieces. But in terms of the next project, I haven't even started that yet. No, I'm still in the baby phase of this book being in the world.
For sure.
Exactly. Yeah, you
Yeah.
deserve that. You deserve to just enjoy that without having any pressure writing. I think, it's like you worked hard to get to this point. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
And
enjoy
I
every
keep asking me
moment.
what's next. Like what's next is sleep.
Right.
What's
Yeah.
next? I was like, I'm
I'm
not
more
taking that.
curious, like for yourself, like for me, I think it was at one point before it was easier for me to keep momentum and hope about the project that I was trying to launch by
Mhm.
having something else that I was working on. So it wasn't like
Mm.
that like
Mhm.
severe drop off of like the book is done, it's out of my hands.
Right.
Mhm.
Now what? Like I was already working on something else.
Yeah.
And now I'm finding I don't need that. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm ever going to do a collection again. I might just do individual poems.
You know what? I think we also have that hustle culture.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's being people of color, where we're always doing a trying dance. We're always making sure that we should be here, that we should be have voices to be heard by doing 50 million things.
Wow.
I think we have to put in our lives, but you know what? No, I need a nap, and I've done enough. I've done enough. I'll continue to do more, but some of that pressure is leaving us. I think we now know that we are here. We will be here. We'll be in the future as well.
Yeah.
Our work will take time, and what time as it needs. It's not an emergency.
Yes.
This is our emergency, but us getting it out in the world on paper and being published and being running around, that's not an emergency, not any longer.
Right.
Because other avenues where we can do our work from. You can do it online, you can do it in person, you can do it over mics. It's other avenues where our voices can be heard, not just the one.
Absolutely.
Now we have options. The options force opportunity to like rest and like take our time and be who we want to be.
That's important. That's important, right? Absolutely.
It is,
yeah, no, it is. It is. Because sometimes I think people get caught up in that, all the running around.
Yeah,
so
they get caught up in like, who can publish next, how many books do you have? That stuff is important for numbers in terms of sales, but it's not going to it doesn't define your happiness. It doesn't define your worth as a poet or worth as a poet who lives as a career. That's not the defining factor. That's not it.
Yeah, that's so real. I love that reminder. It's a perfect segue actually into a question I love to ask. Tell me the ways that you feed your joy. So how do you, besides rest, because rest is huge, it's top of my list. I'm like, the one way I can make myself happy right now is to lay my ass down right now. So other than rest, like what are ways you found where you like a fountain that you can keep coming back to and sipping from and feeding your joy? Or like, it used to be concerts for me. That was really hard to lose that during the pandemic, right? So I was like, if I can't go see Beyonce in concert, how am I gonna pop up? You know what I mean? Like,
right. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
What next? What do we do? I can't see lit. Like where do I get my joy?
Yes.
And it made me go real small, like micro.
Yeah.
And daily, because I'm like, it might not be sparks, it might not be flashbang boom joy.
Right.
It might be like the quiet whisper joy,
Yes.
Tell me about your joy. Tell me how you
quiet whisper joy. I like that idea.
I do.
Yeah,
I like that idea. Yeah, I would say for me, because I feel like my life is always pretty busy. I am kind of juggling always a million things. So for me, like the thing that brings me joy is just and I'm in New York, which is also a busy place. Is just like find those quiet times in nature. So whether it be there's some beautiful parks in Brooklyn where I live, they're by the water, and being able to take these like beautiful long walks. So even if it's not a long walk, even sometimes during my lunch hour, during my work day, just to be able to get away from everybody, to go there, to be by the water, get my little walking in, but also it's very calming for me, because I'm usually, everything I do is very sort of public facing. So for me, it's nice to just kind of be able to go to, a park or to go to nature, and just, just chill out, and definitely brings me joy.
Nice. Yeah.
For me, it's three things. One, I love music. I will put music on and it'll sort of bring me to a whole nother place. I'll be in the dark, I'll have music on or have a podcast on, just the sounds of the words and sort of how people are thinking about the world. I love that. Number two, ice cream.
Okay.
I love ice cream. Haagen-Dazs, Swiss Almond, my favorite ice cream. And number three, baths. I love taking baths. You don't know. Anytime I'll be on the phone texting, I'm like in the bathtub and talk to you right now. Like I love that's my like quiet place. I'll do candles, I'll have a lot of bubbles. I'll do the whole like meditation in the bath. It really, really relaxes me. I come out feeling like totally renewed. So,
I like that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So JP, I must ask, since you do 30 for 30 and 30 for 30, and somebody mentioned the second book, and is it done?
Yep.
Well,
she gave me that look. Oh, there she goes. She gave me the look. She gave me the look.
The glasses.
It is. The poems are there, but no, it's not. It's not done in terms of not being edited. So Cynthia, I know she's gonna give me the look. So I really just have to commit to to completing that editing of that book. I probably have like 2 books in me, and I am also working on. And Cynthia's also called me on this. I'm also working on a middle grade novel in verse. which I'm excited about. But like Cynthia said, what happened to the poetry book, right? That we already started. That's nice that you're working on this. So she's right. Because I am like that sometimes. I'm all over the place. So it's really just trying to focus. That's going to be my next goal, is to really focus on that full second manuscript. And also the middle school, a novel in verse as well. But like she said, one thing at a time. I can't do it all at once.
I mean,
yeah, I could, I guess. I could.
Look to tell like maybe if anybody could, it would be you.
No, if I could. I mean, yes.
Seems to be that you're just fine doing it all. That's wonderful. I think are you cross genre as well, Cynthia? Do you consider yourself cross genre? Do you do any of that?
No, all my characters in fiction die quickly. No, like I can't.
So
I was like, no, thank you.
I'm trying to figure out something for myself, because I had this realization. I was like, I feel when I hear certain people talk about poetry, it's astonishing to me. I'm like, you have such a deep love for poetry and like such deep pockets, for like work that you're referencing. And I love it, and I can nerd out with you, but like, I don't. No, I have a lot of poetry books. I've read some of them. I've read some of a lot of them, and I was realizing, and so like this year, I'm being intentional and working my way through these books that on my to be read pile. I'm like, you know what? You don't have to do any writing. This year is all about launching. You're doing plenty, you're doing enough. You got a full-time job and a kid. I ain't running no marathons because I have bad knees. But I'm not getting a knee replacement. So, that's its own work, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. We're all doing so much already that I was like, I'm going to take a Beyonce year, and I'm going to just like, I'm going to like watch, like go to museums and read books. And like you do, Cynthia, where you're just like taking notes and like noticing things that stick with you, and like kind of replenishing the storehouse a little bit, right?
Yeah, call it the well. Finish the
well.
Yeah,
refill the well. And it's like, it's interesting because I'm like, do I want to do fiction? Because I love me some fiction. I will read a book of fiction.
Right.
And and I'll tear through it. Like you get me started talking about it, and I was like, especially like Afrofuturistic, especially like some of the new young Black writers that are just storming so I'm like, am I supposed to be a fiction writer? And then I found myself hanging out with a bunch of prose writers too. And I'm like, you tricky. So now my writing community is a bunch of prose writers, and I'm like, is the universe trying to tell me something?
Maybe so, maybe.
You can do both. There's nothing you can't. You can do both. I mean, words have so many avenues that can be explored.
I'm a musician. I have a band. I have so many. I'm not saying I can't do it. What I'm saying is, wait, to your point, Cynthia, there's been quite a couple drafts.
Right. We hear that.
With blood on the vine.
Yes.
Could not bear fruits if it was. These did not come.
But there's joy in the trying. There's joy in the trying. There's joy in the pruning.
Okay.
Joy in the pruning.
Yes, in the pruning. That's right. We can always go back. We can revisit.
Because you know what? It's always going to be an experience.
Yes.
That's true. So I want to ask you, JP, who gave you permission? Who gave you permission?
Who gave me permission?
Who said you could do all this and this and this and this and this? Who said that you could write a middle school novel first? Who said? Who gave you permission? How do you? What do you tap into for that? Is it a calling?
I think it's just really giving yourself permission, because definitely there's always self-doubt. People ask you, do you ever have doubt? Absolutely, no doubt. There's that voice, and me and Cynthia sometimes talk about it. It's like, oh, can I do this? But ultimately I'm going to really call on my Leo spirit that brings me back to, okay, you know what, I think you can do this. It's taking you maybe a little bit longer than you might have wanted to get to where you get, right? And being okay with that, like not being so hard on myself. There are sometimes I look like, wait a minute, I should have this and this out by now. But you know what? It's like I'm doing a lot of other things too. And so giving myself to, give myself permission to say, okay, now it's time to get back to this. And it's okay that maybe it took you a little while longer than you wanted to, right? But still having that confidence that it can be done, not giving up on that dream or that goal. So yeah, it definitely comes from, from inside, but with support of, friends and family, Cynthia, and, my family who's, my wife is kind of like that too. She's like, okay, so what's happening with that manuscript?
Yes, I love it.
Hello, Norma.
I think she's been talking to Cynthia maybe, but
also I think as Black women, we don't give ourselves permission to fail.
Right.
We don't ever. We're all about, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do it hard. We're going to do it perfectly.
Right.
People think I'm going to have a gap year. I'm like, what is that? What do you mean you have a gap year? How do you even do that? It's like, it occurred to me. Not my family. We can't afford that. So we never have that sort of path of just wandering and figuring things out. We pick something, we do it, and we rock it. Right. So now we're getting better at, let's try it. Right. If it don't work, the world's not going to end.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. No, I think that's it. Right. That's right.
It's not going to end.
That's
just
right.
try
and be okay
it.
with that. Right.
End. Yeah. Yeah. You have to be okay with, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm not going to be perfect, and that's fine.
Exactly. You have to give yourself permission to kind of go that route. Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. We try to keep ourselves above reproach in that we're going to do things. We're going to do things right, and we're going to get it done because we're strong Black women. Yeah, we could be strong and still do a crappy job. Still do a crappy job. We're still, the first pancake, the first omelet is not going to be, and that's going to be fine.
Perfect one. That's right. But you know what? Let me try again.
I don't know if it's family or we were raised, but we were always raised to like, you pick a job, you do it well. But now, we're going to do it as well as we can.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Put all that pressure on
ourselves.
As
well as we can. We're going to do the best we can. As we can. We're gonna achieve that, the confidence of a mediocre white man.
Yes, they roll through the world with no sweat. They roll through the world.
Right, to be like, well, I tried.
And I got no skills. Qualified for. Yeah,
it's okay.
It's okay.
Right. It's okay.
The world's not gonna end.
It's true, and like, true. I think there's two things. I talked about the gifts of grief. That was the essay that I wrote for JP's portfolio.
That's right. Yes.
And one of the things that I'm really struck with when especially talking to women, is that there is a big distinction in women who have lost their mother.
Yes.
Have a freedom about them that often is still a concern for women whose mothers are still with us, right? There's something about like worrying about what mom's gonna say, no matter what your relationship is.
Right.
Yes. That's something that's really struck me about even the way you conduct yourself, JP. Is like there's a looseness to you too that I recognize in myself, where I'm like, I don't think about that, and that is relief, because when I think about it, I go, "Ooh, she wouldn't like that."
Yes.
She would not be okay with.
Exactly. Right.
I'm saying about her, but I get to say those things because they're my truth. So there's that, and oh man, it's slipping away. There was another point that I had that was brilliant, I swear. There's this when you have allowed yourself to say that I deserve to be a writer, or I deserve to experiment, to try this. It doesn't have to be everything. I don't have to hang my worth on how well I do it.
Yes.
And that's like a new era that I think it comes down to. Like I've been saying a lot recently, like, well, there's only one way out. We all get out the same way.
Right.
So what you gonna do while you're here? Like, to borrow from Prince, like, I want to die empty. I want to create the life that I want to live until I ain't here to do it no more.
That's right. Yeah.
There's some freedom in, like,
yes, absolutely.
Right. That's right. Life is so short. A lot of people make change in the pandemic because they realize that, are you essential? Well, what am I doing exactly that's essential for the world? Right. Am I being happy right now? Why am I not happy? Yeah. So we're also asking ourselves these questions about, what are we spending our time on? Is it family? Is it music? Is it dancing? Is it our work? Is it our art? Is it all those things? Where do you want to put our energy?
And who decides whether it's worth it?
Right. That's right.
There's no rubric that stands for everybody on what's worth it.
That's right. We each have our own, individually. It's like what brings me joy. It might not bring somebody else joy, right? But it's okay to accept this is what brings me joy, and to try to find that thing, whatever that might be, right?
Yeah,
right. That's right. Like I don't get joy from running, but
Okay, exactly right.
know the
We're
Being
feeling.
open
chased
about
by
that.
a
You're open about
maniac.
that.
I know the feeling of flying, and I do love that.
Right.
Your body has got you going. As that when I was a roller skater, pew, you couldn't stop me. I was vicious. Like I love that like body pumping, moving you
Yes,
forward.
yes,
That's the community. That's a commonality, right? Is
yes,
we
Mhm.
can come
yes.
together on that. Like, well, how far can you get your body to make you fly? You know,
Right. Yes,
Mm.
some people want
yes.
to go skydiving. Some people want to jump out of a plane. Not so much. I'd like to
Right.
get back on roller skates though.
Yes. Okay, there
Mm.
you
With your
go.
bad knees?
With my, they gonna replace them one day, Cynthia. They gonna give me some new knees. When I
You
get some
Manic
new knees,
woman.
That's right.
it's
You can
gonna
roller
be
skate.
painful.
You can roller skate. Exactly. Exactly.
I had such a good time. Thank you both so much for
Thank
joining me
you.
today.
Thank you for
If you
having
all
us.
who are out there would like to revisit this or share this conversation with someone, you can find the video on Hedgebrook's YouTube channel, and the audio version will be available soon somewhere where you receive podcasts. I don't know whose job that is to make it into a podcast. Might be mine. The series is presented free of charge for our community and is supported by donations from listeners like you. We hope you'll join us for more of our upcoming programs, and you can find our calendar of events on our website, which I just dropped into the comments just a little bit ago. Thank you all for joining us today. Next up is our Filmmakers Showcase, in person and virtual through Northwest Homefront on May 19th. And we hope you'll join us right here for our next Cottage Chat on Thursday, May 18th at 4 p.m. Pacific.